We're back at the platform of VAT Expo. And after the United States, we're going to talk about China. And we have ZHUANG. Very good morning. I'm going to give you the floor to present your country. And you were in Bordeaux for the first edition of VAT Expo. So could you present yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie. I'm still a student. I'm a doctoral student from Dutch University today. I used to be the VP of ZHIQIANG and another ECIG company. And I study, I do my research in ECIG sales and supply chain management. So why me? Why me introduce to you the ECIG market today? I was appointed as the writer to the biggest media in China called Tobacco China. So I'm a writer to this media. I was the chief editor of China ECIG Online. And also the Deputy Secretary General of China ECIG Association. So I know a little bit of the market, of course. And I make a presentation. It's only 23 pages. We can spend some time on it.
Ouais. Jackie, ce que je vous propose juste avant de regarder votre...
Could we look at your presentation in China? But first of all, I'd like to show you a video of VAT Expo concerning the Chinese market. We're going to look at this first, and then afterwards you're going to have the time to give your presentation. So there's not a lot of vapors in China for the moment, but a lot of smokers, 300 million smokers, that are the estimations today.
True, and I have a number, is 350 million,
Okay,
so well, it's a big number.
Okay. Ce que je vous propose...
What I would like to propose is to give you the floor, to let you the time to give your presentation. We're going to see this on the screen as well, and afterwards we're going to have a small debate, maybe check if there's questions from the audience.
Excellent. So I'd like to spend our time on the presentation. So the first slide is to give you some sketchy ideas of where you can find ECIG in China. And now it's mainly online. And these are the logo of the main e-commerce in China. So we all know e-cigarette was invented by a Chinese gentleman called Hon Lik, and he created the first e-cig hype in China market in last decade, but it slowly receded from the market in year 2006. And a consultation company I'm working with told me that China's market size today for ECIG is between US dollar 100 million to 150 million. We all know that ECIG sales data are all a guess. So this is the number that we have. It got a broad range. And 95% is online, and still, sometimes you can see ECIG in a convenience store, very rarely, but they are there, and even some in a nightclub and so on. and so 1% in the shop, and the rest of them from the tourist direct sales or the other scenario. And very occasionally, these stores you can find ECIG. No one promote the ECIG as a real tobacco, a real cigarette in a real shop. And all the e-commerce today, they carry electronic cigarette. There is still no control in e-cigarette. There is no policy from the government or China Tobacco. They didn't say yes or no or anything. Yep, let's move to the next slide. Okay, let's do a case study. I have a case study from Taobao, and I have some number. We all know Alibaba just got their IPO from New York last week. And to give you an idea, Taobao got a gross merchandise volume in last year 1.1 trillion RMB. That's approximately, I think, maybe 130 billion euro. That's how much Taobao deal last year. Okay, we got this interesting data. That is, very briefly, you will see that the search for electronic cigarette is 8 times more in the first 7 months than last year. So you can imagine that actually Chinese consumer is experiencing another information attack by the ECIG.
Et là, nous sommes sur des chiffres très récents.
These are very recent figures. So you see that there's a multiplication by 8 concerning the number of hits, Google hits, for example, between January and March of this year.
It's the hit generated inside the e-commerce Taobao. So just like how frequently people search for electronic cigarette in Amazon, something. That's the kind of data. It's not Google. You know, there's no Google in China.
I know.
Yep. Okay, let's go ahead. And of course, wise, Guangdong is the #1, and ECIG mainly from Shenzhen, and Shenzhen is a city belong to Guangdong. And also, there are many shops registered in Beijing, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang. Jiangsu and Zhejiang has several ECIG factories, and I can say 95% of the ECIG factories are located in Guangdong province. So that's why you can see the shops are mainly in Guangdong, but the other provinces, they still get some. I don't know why. And gender-wise, the male is 68% and ladies 32%. And there are 2 columns of data here. They are mainly for search and really deal. It's pretty similar. Consumer group. So these are the people that we are from. This is their consuming capability study. They are mainly people between poor and rich. The people in the medium, half of them buy ECIG. This is Tmall. Tmall is belong to Alibaba, is belong to Taobao, the same idea, but it's just more like an elite shop group of Taobao. We choose the data from Tmall is because they are more regulated dealers right there. So the shop data are more tangible and is real. So averagely, we have VTM, rechargeable and disposable, and the bottle e-liquid. So you can see in China, people actually prefer the VPM, the vapor tank, and MOD stuff. Yeah, that's.
Concerning the sales, we're about at 12,000. Could you give us any numbers concerning the volume? What does it represent? So 80,000 sales per month on materials?
It's pieces. From the lab column, for lab draft, the chart is 83,800 pieces per month in the website. Yeah.
Et si on compare ces données,
What about those data? If we compare them to the 6 months before in 2013, what is the growth, more or less? What is the growth?
mais on est sur, en termes de...
We are, for the research, working on those data, we're 8 times more. Is that right?
For the hit, the hit of the search, but the deal is double. Yeah, I missed that one. That means every 4 people they search ECIG, 1 will buy. That's
Okay.
Yeah. I think I got the question. Yeah.
Et là, c'est la fin du processus où
This is the end of the process between persons who were looking for ECIGs on the research engine, 1 out of 4, and per 8 as far as the research is concerned, right? Tout à fait.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. It's the vote of per price. VTM is range from 50 to 100 RMB. Is somehow something like 5 to 10 euro, 5 to 12 euro in China is actually pretty cheap. I see the cost and the price ratio is maybe 1 versus 3 in China. I know the cost of the ECIG very well, and the price they sell in China is about 3 times more. Yeah, so.
Il est 3 fois plus élevé par rapport...
3 times higher as respect to the price in Europe or in the States. That's what you mean?
Comparing to the, what we say, the price out of the factory is not comparing to any overseas prices.
D'accord. Et par rapport au tabac,
Yeah.
For tobacco, what is the difference between buying a pack of cigarette and an e-cigarette? Is that cheaper to vape in China too?
It's not really cheaper than vaping in China, because in China you can still find in the retail market you can still find a €1 pack of cigarette. So it depends on what did you use, and the price of the cigarettes is comparatively low. From what I've seen.
Okay, let's continue. Continue.
All right, still the same chart. Then the Tmall shop, most of them are from Guangdong, where the ECIG factories are located. I'd like to give a summary, and this is a very important data. There are about 16 online shops in China, annual turnover more than 1.2 million euro per year. So there are about 16 of them getting healthy profit. Yeah. And more interesting, some product claim themselves from USA or Italy, and in UK they are selling inside China. So we do have imported e-cigarette, and I will have a special slide for that. Those are the sketchy images that you can see from the website. Okay. Those are the imported ones. We have imported electronic cigarettes. E-cigarettes are made in China, but I do think these are the imported ones, as we see some of this a lot in Europe. And the right bottom one, the 4 Chinese character means imported from Japan. Yep, interesting.
Comment voyez-vous
How do you see the future of the market in China as far as the splitting is concerned from Chinese products and European products or Japanese products or American products? Do you think there is a place for European products in China?
I do see the potential, as Chinese people have, mentality-wise, always have a better expectation to imported products, especially this is for human consumption. And as we stated here, if you put the word imported electronic cigarette, that actually that got a 4,000 something result. That is very unexpected. I don't think in reality there are that much imported electronic cigarette to China. But I do see the craving for this category is growing. What China manufacturers do to China market, will be more synergy. I mentioned some of this because it's related to very heavily to the domestic market. More and more factories are doing e-cig, but some of them came from China Tobacco. So China Tobacco are entering this business. And also the other company who were making computers and so on, they also jump on the bandwagon. And even more and more marketing companies start realize the e-cig market and doing the marketing for the e-cig. And more local e-cig brands are set up every day. And of course, the voice for better regulated industry is raising. People want better regulation, better clarification for the product. Yeah. Okay. And the last slide will be what China. Will China become the next e-cig market? Yeah, we got 350 million smoker. And the world is actually got, there is a mistake here. The world got 1 billion smoker. It's a mistake here. And e-cig fundamentally is an electronic gadget. That means, in a way, it's very hard to control because it's electronic. And it's very hard to control by tobacco-related law. That's what I meant. And with or without the nicotine could be the biggest obstacle because a company I know, they are doing very massive electronic cigarette campaign to promote e-cig, but they only do non-nicotine products. So they are not afraid to do. So heat-not-burn will be the new consumption method. We all know that PMI, the Philip Morris International, is launching the heat-not-burn product. And every China tobacco industrial subsidiary is working on this. Yeah. So there is, if people don't pay attention to the quality of the e-cig sold in the website, I think it will be a disaster for Chinese consumer. They will lose their confidence the second time in the history. And of course, the e-cig industry and many consumers are asking for better standardization from the government in many ways. So the last one, what China Tobacco will do to control or to better regulate the product, we don't know. Yeah. Okay, that's the end of the proposal.
Merci beaucoup. Moi, j'ai plein de questions.
Many thanks to you. I have a lot of questions to ask you. And maybe we can ask to the audience if someone has questions or reactions after our friend's presentation. I think that the e-cig market will have new competitors coming from new products linked to the tobacco market, as you were explaining, with heated tobacco, for example. The question is also to understand how for Chinese manufacturer to improve that quality, that standard. Are there actions in that sense for the standardizations of Chinese products?
That's a good question. On September 3rd in China, we have an event called China e-cig Forum. I'm actually one of the organizers of this event. And during this event, we have an unprecedented meeting called the International e-cig Standardization Meeting. And during that meeting, we have a top e-cig maker, maybe there are about 10 of them, and several major company and liquid company, and another e-cig association in China, and 4 to 5 major international e-cig associations. For example, 5-Wave was there. We have also ACITA, we have TVECA, we have ANTHER, the Spanish e-cig association, and also even the TMA, Tobacco Merchant Association from USA. So all these people sit together. There is only one topic, is standardization. Yes, so people have a good move, finally, toward the direction of better regulation.
Et concernant les acteurs...
What about the actors, the players in China? How can they forecast the future as far as the European and American markets are concerned? Of course, linked to the standardization. Do people fear that evolution of the regulations, of the standardization in the States and in Europe?
I like to describe this instead of giving my judgment. The situation is many factory owners I know, they are confused by the international tendency of e-cig development and regulation from different countries, laws and so on. So yeah, they were confused. And concerning the standardization issues, I don't think there will be so fast or any active or effective actions could be carried out that soon. So there will be a way to a long way before this product formally regulated in China, in the industrial level.
D'accord, alors pour revenir justement sur ce point.
Coming back to that point of consumption in China, we have read in the press in Europe that the government, the Chinese government, had also the intention to banish, or to be very restrictive with tobacco, and as a way to have higher taxes on tobacco or to establish measures anti-tobacco that could enable the e-cigarette implementation or development. So, if we are in 2020. Let's imagine we are in 2020. Is China, or will China be the first market as far as the consumption is concerned? Do you think in these 10 future years, China will become the first country consumer of e-cigarette? And do European and American societies will work on that topic too?
Well, I have no comment to the tax actions released by China Tobacco, but I do see China Tobacco is making a lot of progress in e-cig regulations and even in institutional level. They appointed government officials internally to specifically in charge of the e-cig sector. I think everything is still on the way. And concerning the market potential-wise, it really depends on what China Tobacco will take action on the product. And we got a lot of rumor about what China Tobacco will do. Some people say in year 2018, maybe the market will be open. And some people will say that when the tobacco tax income become 5% of the national income, now is 10%, then the market will be a free market, no more dominated by China Tobacco. So in this sense, we have no reason to doubt that tobacco or cigarette alternative will become the mainstream of tobacco-related product consumption. We are not so sure if it will be e-cig or the other way of what we call the modified risk new tobacco category.
Dernière question concernant l'événement que vous avez.
What about the event you were dealing with in China at the beginning of September? Have you foreseen a new date, a new meeting with all professionals coming from all over the world?
We don't know when the next event will be. But the repercussion from this event is beyond our expectation because we have total 500 audience and in that event, and I think maybe 10 to 20% out of them they came from overseas. So this is very interesting.
Merci beaucoup, Jackie ZHUANG, d'avoir...
Many thanks for answering our questions, and you will be present also during the afternoon, and we'll have the opportunity also to discuss with you and about the development of the links that do exist between Europe and China on e-cigarette. Many thanks.